Let's talk now about beginning and ending a fourth species exercise. This is actually really nice because it's extremely restricted. You've got the longest stretch that's simply written by you, prescribed by formula, which means that you've got less work to do. There's a lot of stuff when you're starting one of these, you can just write it down. There are no questions about what it's going to be. So let's start with the ending, because that's where things are really straightforward. Suppose you're writing upper counterpoint. You know that you're allowed to end with either an octave or a unison. And you know that being allowed to end with a unison is useless because all kanji fairly descend into the final tonic. And therefore, a unison would involve a voice crossing or an overlap or something like that. So you know that you're going to be ending with an octave. You must precede that octave with, so a scale degree 1, you must precede that with a leading tone. So you're going to have a leading tone. That leading tone must be the resolution of a dissonant suspension. So that means that this is given. But not only that, if that's a dissonant suspension, it must have been prepared. So when I'm starting work on an upper counterpoint, I can just write that down. There's no thinking to do, there are no other options, that's just what you write down. That's it, it's frozen. They all end just like that. Okay? Now if I'm writing a lower counterpoint, the only variable is whether I end on a unison or an octave, because there I really do have both of those as choices. And suppose it's what they did here with the same one I had on the board. Suppose we have decided, yeah, we want to end on a unison. So there's our unison, hold it. It must come from a leading tone. The leading tone must be the resolution of a dissonant suspension. Which means that it must have been prepared. And I can write down exactly the same thing. So starting 2.5 measures, scale degree 1, tied over the bar line, resolving to a leading tone, back to scale degree 1. Completely fixed, completely frozen. That's how they all end. Beginning, the scale degree choices are the same as before. So you've got your choice between scale degree 1 or scale degree 5 to start out in the upper counterpoint, always scale degree 1 in the lower counterpoint. Furthermore, there are no rhythmic choices as you had in species 2 and 3. As in species 1, there are no options for rhythm. You must start with a half note rest. You must then go into a half note which is tied over the bar line. So I can just sketch out, either I've got my octave or I've got my fifth. Those are my two options. And notice, those may not be legal. So because they have to be tied, you have to explore things a little bit more. If I go with the octave, the A, that's going to lead to a 7th, that's going to push me to a 7/6. And so this choice leads me directly there. Those other two notes just follow automatically. The choice, okay, let me actually put those numbers above in this case, because I'm also tracing what happens here. If I choose the E, that's going to turn into a 4th. That's going to require a 4/3 suspension. So those are both legal ways to start. We'll have to explore which one we prefer, which works better with some of the other choices we might make. But you see, you can't know until you've seen that that the tie actually leads you into a legal scenario. You don't know that that's actually a viable starting point. By the way, tying into a consonance is okay. We'd rather tie into a dissonance and make a normal suspension, but tying into a consonance is okay. It must be a tie though. And it's exactly the same in writing lower counterpoint. We choose between the unison and the octave, and then we tie over.